Hey there, Debbie. Good to see you. Well, not see you, but glad you're here. Hi there, central staff. So we'll probably give it about 2-3 more minutes before we get started up, just so you're aware.
I was just going to check in case Fadi did attend and introduce or welcome.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good, thank you.
Got my caramel macchiato black coffee, so I'm good to go.
Well, we just rescued the coffee maker here at the office.
Oh yeah.
The big machine, and I feel like I'm a big coffee ground.
Right. Getting all over the place. Yeah, we did a buyer's presentation last Thursday. So you can actually do all of both in Command if you've never created one or you want to make a new one, which is, it's just insane to me that the things that are being created that are, you know, actually usable for agents now is.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Showing them the gems, you know, throughout the program. I'm gonna make a post, I think, real quick, just with the link. All right, just made one more post in there as well. So we'll give it about 2 more minutes. Let people file on, and we'll go from there. Yes, Debbie, it is very one-on-one. It's a one-on-one-on-one. Well, no matter if there's 3 attendees or 300, I teach it just the same. And that's the good thing about Zoom is it's nice and easy that, you know, I can walk you through it nonetheless. And of course, as always, it'll be on YouTube for you to watch later too. All right, we'll give it 1 more minute. We'll go to 10:05. I usually say that and then don't actually wait that long. And we'll go from there.
Just like the baseball games, don't they
Exactly.
start at 5 after?
Exactly. It's honestly realtor time is what it really is. As the planner, as the teacher, planning in some buffer realtor time to get their coffee, get their pajamas, you know, off, some clothing going for the day at 10 a.m. Have you been up at the office every day for quite a while, Christine?
Yes. I was only out 2 weeks. They made me quarantine myself when my son came home from University of Miami.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
But we were cootie free.
Good. We love that. We love that. Yep. Everything's been good in our world.
Good.
Yeah. My girlfriend knew somebody who had like just gone on their honeymoon in Mexico, and then whole deal, but everyone's fine and happy and healthy, but there's some craziness. Well, it's 10:05 now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started just for the sake of time. Debbie, by the way, Christine, Debbie said thank you very much for her card in the chat, whichever card she's talking about. She's appreciative of that from you.
Awesome.
But yeah, if you can feel free to hang out or you can go do your thing, Christine. Either way, no offense taken either way. I'll let you do what you do.
I have an onboarding coming soon, so I
Okay.
will say adieu. But I know
Okay.
that this is really great in designs, and I appreciate you
Yeah,
taking the class, and have a fun one-on-one, Debbie.
definitely. I appreciate it. I'll be posting the YouTube link later if anybody asks you if they missed it.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
All right.
you.
Have a good one. Yes, ma'am.
You too.
All right, Debbie. Well, it's just going to be you and I today, a little one-on-one, and that's not a problem for me. So we'll go ahead and I'll start sharing my screen. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions as I'm going, as always, and we'll just kind of go from here, okay? So not on Facebook. We are actually starting in Command, as always, today. And Debbie, were you on the class last Thursday creating a buyer presentation, or did you miss that one? Or have you not watched it yet? I just want to know for your own, for my understanding of your knowledge with
I was
design.
on.
Okay,
I was on.
perfect. Just wanted to make sure I was in the loop. So just like last time, we're going to go to designs over here on the left. And then there's my untitled design that I actually created. But we're going to go down here to the blue plus sign. And you can feel free to work along and create your own as we're doing this, or if you just want to watch, just feel free to let me know if I do need to slow down if we're doing it together. So we're going to be selecting a print design. That's what these templates are for listing and buyer presentations. And once we select that, we've got our spinning wheel that's thinking. And then over here on the listings on the left side of the page is where we're going to find that presentation. So last Thursday, we went to buyer and went down to buyer presentation. Today, we're just switching it up, doing the same thing, but for listings. So we'll go down to list, or up here right at the top, listing presentation. Last time we did the classic template, and I'm just going to continue and do that one as well this time, Debbie, but you can do modern as well. It's just how you want the look to be, but we'll just do classic for today. And there's less pages that you have to delete out of this. There's not anything about Keller Mortgage in here. There is just this one, there's these front 2 pages at the beginning that you will want to delete. So here we've got page 1, just like last time, we just click on the templates here on the left side of the page as we go. And then at the bottom of the screen as well, you can click the pages right here. And as we're going, you'll see all the different pages add up. And this is also how you can move around, delete pages, all of that type of stuff. So I'll just start adding a couple pages here. We'll go into the instructions as well. And just like the other one, basically the gist of this is please customize this template. If you do not, it is going to look bland. It's going to look incorrect. It's going to have some fake agent's picture in there, fake phone numbers, no emails, no app links, anything like that, on top of just you branding it to yourself and making it your own thing to some form or fashion. So that's the gist of this, this instruction page right here. But here, where it says Maria and Chris Roberts, I did not write that in. It just, the template has that in there. This is really going to be our page 1 here, okay? So I'm actually going to come down in here to pages. And now that we've seen the template page and the instruction page, and I'm good with that, I'm going to click the arrow and click trash. Yes. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And then also, just so you're aware, this has happened to me every time I've created one of these buyer or listing presentation templates. It makes a page 1 that doesn't really have a page. So you see here, number 2, this is actually going to be our page 1 of the presentation. So I'm just going to click delete on this as well. And I'm not sure why it does that, but it's just something to look at so you don't end up printing a blank page at the beginning of your deal. So let's say it was Maria and Chris Roberts, or you change it to whatever name you need. And then we've got, add in our DBA logo over here if I can find it. Let's see here. Sometimes it plays nice and sometimes it doesn't. Well, it's not letting me pull in the DBA just because I switched offices, really that reasoning there. So we'll just put in a normal Keller Williams logo here. We'll act like this is the DBA, even though it's not. And I'll put in a black logo so you can actually see it. So that's where your DBA logo would go. That's just me having some technical error here. And so now I'm just zooming in extra. We can see we've got some other things in here we need to add. We need to change out that photo. So one thing you can do, Debbie, if you remember, you can just click on a photo. And then if you find the one you want to replace it with, you'll see this little replace image button. It looks kind of like a refresh on a browser. And you can click that and it just pops right in there. You don't even have to drag it. It's very, very easy. So then on the first name up here, the typewriter is how we edit text, if you remember. So I just clicked on first name, typewriter, put in my info, and actually I'm gonna do it in all caps. So I like how that looks a little better. That's a little too far off. I'm gonna use my arrow keys, bring that over, clean up that spacing. Move that over a little bit. I'm happy with that. Get the phone number and all that info in here real quick. And again, like last week, Debbie, you can find your KW app link in your settings when you're setting up your marketing profile in the command settings. So if you don't know where that is, or you can go on your consumer app if you have that downloaded and branded to yourself. You could text yourself the link to see the code or what the code is. You can look in your app as well. I just know that that's mine because I've just memorized it. And instead of kw.com, I'm going to put my team's website. You could also put in your agent branded website just for yourself if you're not on a team, or just the KW website if you just prefer that and don't have maybe one built out yet. So that's all we're changing here on page 1. Super easy, right? So we can go back up to templates here on the top left of the screen. That's how we see all the pages that we're adding. And we're happy with this one. We'll just click to keep going. I'm going to make a point to show you where you need to change things on these pages as we're going out, as of what this template looks like, you know, here at the end of May on the 28th this year. So see, we've got the agent, you know, fake agent's picture in there. We need to change that out again. Okay. And you can switch out any of these photos as well. If you didn't like some of these, you can go into images, company, and then lifestyle at home, lifestyle activities. You can see all different types of stock images in here that you can use. So I'll go back to templates. Now this would be for their actual property right here. It says up here in the top left, this would be, you know, kind of your breakdown before you actually come to the property, to their home for the listing appointment. This, you'd leave that all blank, just put in maybe a former picture of theirs from the MLS. You could technically do that, or if you just want to have a blank stock image in there, you could have that in there. You put in all the info in here, property, address, of course, and then also just maybe some details that you've researched and, you know, done your homework on before the listing appointment. All of these say Barton Hills, pretty much all of these templates have that in there because that's down in Austin where KWRI is. And so all of these are tailored to that for the template. And then, you know, you need to edit it based on your statistics and, you know, the unique value proposition for this property as well. So you'll need to come in here and edit everything on that page. And then this one. So right off the bat, the first thing I notice on this page is on the template, this right here, this main image is actually way too tall. You can see it's bleeding off of the page. So I'm just going to click on that and just pull it down. And actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to drag. So instead of dragging, if you drag down, you're going to just not show what's there. That's not what we want to do. I'm going to grab this corner one and pull it down to size so that we can actually resize the entire thing. Now, granted, we're not doing Barton Hills here. If this was a Richardson listing, you could come over here, you could go into, let's see, is it icons, or let me see real quick. Trying to remember here where these are hiding out at. Oh, it's actually KWLS, that's right. So for these right here, for these types of graphics on a neighborhood or a specific area with pre-populated data, you come down to the KWLS and you would type snapshots up here instead of listing. And then you could search a neighborhood. If you don't know a neighborhood for some reason, you could just type in the city, say it's Richardson Heights. I can click that. It shows me that there's data in there. So I've already got that one selected. If I like this one and it's good, I can just click replace. And then bam, that's for Richardson Heights right there. We would change this with the typewriter to Richardson Heights. Oh, see, spacing's way off on that. So we would probably want to drop that down maybe to 36-point font. Yep, that's good right there. Something like that. So anyway, that's how you would be able to edit this. And then also we've got plenty of other things in here you would want to edit. You'd want to make sure that these numbers are correct as well. They should be, but you want to double check that. So over X amount of time, you know, average list prices increase, days on market, increase, decrease, your app link. You want to make sure you add all these things in here. And really this entire page you're going to need to edit. And if you don't like any of these pages, you can just delete them too. So we'll go back to templates, keep on moving here. When you pull up comps for their property, I definitely would include photos of those houses. Because if it's John Smith, their neighbor around the corner, they're going to recognize it immediately when the picture's in there. They may not know the number right off the top of their head. But put in, you know, I'd say at least 4 comps in here just to show that you're doing your homework for them. Put in all the necessary information from the MLS in there as well. And I guess technically, let me just see if we could do this. I'm just having an idea. If we went to KWLS and we went for a listing, and let's say we were doing a 123 Main Street. I'm sure there's one. Let's see, or we'll just say Main Street, period. All right, so here in Steamboat Springs, we're going to select that listing. If we select that, so you can replace the image immediately right here. So you see what I did? I just went to the KWLS, typed in Main Street. You'd type in a full property address. But then I can just replace the image right here if I wanted to do that. Very, very easy and simple. You don't need to download to your computer for any reason. You can just integrate straight through the KWLS and just pop over your fields and then add in all your data, of course. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely want to make things as easy as possible for y'all. So on the needs come first, we're going to move on to this next one. So this one, less that you need to edit really, Debbie. This one's more just a basic, you know, questions and answers that you're going to have in the appointment, kind of some pre-made questions. If you don't like them, if you want different questions, you know, you can just click on this, choose the typewriter, change whatever questions that you'd like. Maybe there's some bold script questions that you've had over the years or something from a class you picked up. Maybe you don't love the questions in here. You can edit whatever you like. On the process, this is a really cool, just in general, template form in general. Like I would honestly probably screenshot this and put this on your phone if I were you. For anyone watching this, this is page, let's see, I deleted the first 2. So this is going to be page 9. It looks like in the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9, the process. That 9th page in this listing template as of today, I would definitely screenshot this because this is just a good thing to text over to clients, especially, you know, people that haven't sold a house in a long time. Maybe it's their first time selling their house. You know, they were first-time home buyers, it's their first time listing. Or in general, maybe you just want to send this over to them. Now, granted, they have something similar to this on their consumer app. If you've sent that to them to download in the guide, and you can edit those buyer and seller guides for the app here in Command as well in the consumer applet at the very bottom. You can edit what those guides say. So maybe you don't want to screenshot and text this out, but you do want to have these, you know, you want to make sure it's as, you know, updated as this is with all these different steps. You could technically go in and add all of those things and make it, I guess, as long as you really wanted for the guide in the mobile app, if you did want to do that instead of screenshotting this. But definitely just a cool little easy page to have just for your own peace of mind. On your app page right here, of course, we're going to need to make sure on the bottom left that we add your code for your app. A lot of this is good to go, easy peasy, not necessarily anything that you need to change. I would just add in where the X's are right here, put in your app link. It's really all you need to change, absolutely need to change on that page. And then your custom marketing plan. So as we move forward here, really you're going to want to change a lot of this based on what your actual marketing plan is. Don't leave this plain and blank if this isn't actually how you plan to market their home, because then you're false advertising and then you're entering an agreement with them and they are with you, and communication isn't really clear. So as we move forward here, you're going to want to probably change up some of these things as we get into the marketing pieces and how it says, you know, you will do it in the template version. This is also cool, real quick, just the finding your buyer, kind of where buyers come from. And this was a profile of NAR back in 2018. So you don't need to change this data and these pie charts and all that because this is not a template. It is a template, but this is actually from NAR back in 2018. So this is real data, real pie chart You don't necessarily need to edit it unless you, for some reason, wanted to create a brand new pie chart. I guess you really could if you felt so inclined in Excel or something like that. So everything in there is good to go. There are a couple of these pages as it gets more customized. So best-in-class promotional assets is this page. So this is talking about just designs right here. You can see this graphic right here. It's showing all the different types of designs that are available for both print and internet as well. So this is all good to go. Nothing you need to customize in there. Here's the one that I was talking about, your media plan. So this one talks about property brochures, just listed flyers, just listed postcards, coming soon email, open house invitation, all these different things. If you're not doing all of these things, please do not include this page as is. Please edit it to what you actually do for your clients. And just a thought here, something that our team has kind of thrown around. We haven't implemented it yet, but after family reunion, maybe it was a year or two ago, I heard an agent speak who's a mega agent that he said he has basically a tiered system of his listing percentage. And it can be 6%, 7%, it can go up to like, I think 10% or something that he said. But he's providing different spots of value. So maybe you break this page down and you break it down to your specifications of, hey, this is what our team will do for 6%, what we've always done. If you want extra more, drone photography, this, that, the other, it goes up to 7 or 8%. If you want even more, the cream of the crop, top of blah, 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 it goes up to 10% with like a Matterport, maybe not, but just an idea there of maybe you want to do think about maybe a tiered system for your listing commission, because that way, even if you're not including all these things and you'd like to, it lets really the seller choose, do your homework on your end, make sure you know how to do all these things before promising it, before the presentation and appointment. But after that, make sure that you just have an idea of how all these things work, and maybe you can start learning and leveraging
We've
a few more of these things.
An agent did a presentation at our office with the different levels. It's really cool.
Oh, okay. Yes, it is. It certainly is. And I honestly, just transparency, I need to do a better job of looking more into that, but it's definitely a great idea nonetheless. There's so many in the business. But I'm glad someone has taught a class for y'all and talked to y'all about that. That's great. And then on to the promotion page here. Let's see. So here they've got different, bullet points here about a coming soon campaign. So walkthrough and needs analysis. Well, we all do that. That's the listing appointment. Professional photography and videography. I hope we're all doing that, no matter the property. And honestly, even if it's a lease, please don't do cell phone pictures. It's very frustrating. So coming soon email blast, social media touch, call out campaign, all that type of stuff. So if you're not doing some of these things, obviously just delete or add where you see fit. If you need to, make more of these little boxes right here, the little check box, I just clicked on it. And then let me go down some of this. So you can click on, say we wanted to add another one of these. Instead of going to find it myself, that sounds like a lot of effort. I'm just going to click on that box. And then up here at the top right, I'm going to click duplicate. And now you'll see, bam, it's kind of in the wrong spot, but there's our extra little red box. So if you do need to add more things, it's very easy. You don't need to go find these boxes and make them again yourself and recreate the wheel. You could quite literally just drag, and you see that blue line whenever I'm dragging. That'll show you where your object here is lining up. Go right there. Get Bonetta in here real quick. Hey there, Bonetta. So sorry, I did not see that you had attempted to join until just now. So it's great to have you in here. We are working on a listing presentation here in Designs, and we're about halfway through right now, but I'll show you real quick what we have done. So we've gone through, oh, no, we don't want to leave the page. So these are all the pages we've done so far. So we're up to page 13 now on strategic promotion. So just wanted to let you know about that. Bonetta, thanks for joining us nonetheless. I do appreciate it. Now it's less a one-on-one with me and Debbie, and it's a one-on-one with all of us. I was just showing her how to duplicate boxes and different icons and things like that in here, up here at the top right of the screen. So just so you're now caught up, Bonetta, great to have you. So again, if you aren't using some of these coming soon things for your campaign or just listed, if you're not doing some of these things, change the verbiage to what you are doing, delete boxes if there's too many, add more if you don't have enough, so on, so on. Easy peasy stuff for you. And the same here now, obviously with COVID going on, open houses are going to come back. I have no doubt about that. But right now they're not necessarily all that beefed up in terms of everybody and their grandma doing them just yet. So maybe you include this right now, maybe you don't, maybe you tailor it more to talking about virtual open houses, what you'll do, you know, Facebook Lives, pre-recorded videos that you post, different things like that. You know, maybe you tailor this to more of the current COVID, you know, way of going about things right now, and just, you know, those extra safety precautions and just how we've all had to pivot. Thanks for joining us, Joseph. Great to have you in here. So now we'll go on to the It's in the Details page. And by the way, Benetta and Joseph, I know y'all joined a little bit late. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube either today or tomorrow. Either way, for the office, KW Central 75, all one word, on YouTube. So you can find this video in there if you know, since you missed the first half of it. So here on the It's in the Details. So obviously this is talking about yard signs, different things that you're going to be providing to them as the listing agent. If you're not door knocking, please do not include the door knocking page. That is not helpful if you're not really going to do those things. And especially right now, people are probably less likely to open the door anyway, honestly. Even if they were less likely before COVID, now even more so. I think people are less wanting to open their door and not knowing who's there at it. So maybe you leave that in there, maybe you don't. Just tailor it to whatever you're doing for your clients now. You know, not necessarily what you've always done, but what you're doing now in the current COVID world that we're living in. Real experience, real expertise. This is just like on the buyer's presentation we did last week. You're going to want to change a lot of things on here, okay? So all of this right here, this bio, that is not your bio. That is just a template. So please make sure add in your own bio. It could even be the one you use on your agent sites. I made sure and I took the time to write out a nice one for that so that I can copy and paste and use it for different things. So I just personally have that one copied in a note so I can paste my bio from my phone or from my computer whenever I want. So you'll want to come in here, you'll want to change out the photo. And I can just, again, I clicked on this fake agent's photo, go over here to the replace image. Looks like a little refresh wheel. So we're doing that. You'd come in, change your name, you know, CEO and founder, or if you're just part of a team, put in just the team name there, or if you're not, you know, just individual agent. If you went to college and you want to put that in there, if you're a board member or a founder of anything, you know, I personally am part of Keller Williams Young Professionals. I'm a QL instructor for young adults. You know, there's a couple different designations that if I wanted to, I could put down there. And so if you have anything applicable, or maybe just designations that you've gotten through CCAR or Metrotex, just as an agent, you know, maybe you just put in your different designations in there to kind of show your knowledge and expertise. Your DBA name, of course, you're going to want to put that in there. You're going to want to click here on the address right under it, click the typewriter. Make sure you add in your office address in there and not Keller Williams Realty Market Center, but Keller Williams Realty Central 75. Make sure you change all of that in there as well. And then all of these numbers right here. I don't remember if it said it on the instructions page for this one, but it definitely did for the buyer's presentation. If you don't have numbers, if you don't know all of your numbers for this, if you don't have things like conversion rates, or maybe you're just a newer agent, or maybe you don't work this full time, and those numbers are more of a hindrance to you than a helpful thing when you're face-to-face with the client, use some KW numbers, pull some KW data, you know, about how and what they do for the agents, and just, you know, how KW, the Triple Crown a few years ago, you know, all these different statistics about the great things that Keller Williams have done, you know, just mile markers, different things like that. Great to have you on, Scott. Thanks for joining us. So anyway, if you don't have the credentials or numbers that you feel best serve this box, I wouldn't necessarily delete it out. I would just include KW statistics instead of your own, if that's not going to be the best working thing for you. So that was real expertise. We'll keep moving on. This one, especially for conversion rates and things like that, the proof is in my numbers. If you're not even anywhere close to having anything like this, you know, tangible, if you don't even know what your rates are, I would recommend you figure those out regardless. of just appointments to contracts signed to agreement, all those different things. So here, of course, well, market average, that just pulled, I think that's just the nationwide average. I don't even know where that came from. So you'd want to put in your market average based on how you're working. Put in, the percentages, if it's higher, if it's lower. If it's lower, I guess you could rotate this 180 degrees to be a down arrow. And then down here, of course, all of these different numbers. If you don't know them, I would figure them out. If this page is too much and it's just stressful, feel free to delete it. And how you do that again is down here at the bottom of the screen on pages. You can see all the different pages that we've added. And this is where we're at right now, page 17. So if we were not wanting to keep this page, you can click on it, click that arrow, and then click trash can, and it'll go away. I'm going to leave it in there because I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I'm just saying if it doesn't fit your needs, feel free to take care of it and just get it out. Credentials and awards here, same thing. If you're a newer agent, don't really have many credentials or awards, that you want to customize for your own, you can just leave it just like it is here. This is a great spot to find some good KW data just to see. I wouldn't include all of this on that other page, numbers wise, because it's already listed right here. But maybe you wanted to include this information over there on this page right here on the real expertise. Maybe you want to include some of these things in there instead, and then maybe you delete this page. You just don't necessarily want to be redundant either. But just some good background on Keller Williams as a company and how we've moved, especially over the past 7 years, almost a decade now, and our trajectory and where we've gone. Leading the industry here, this next page. This talks about our Keller Williams mantra, all of our stuff right here. Now, first thing right off the bat I'm noticing is the red over here is actually bleeding into this image. I don't think we should necessarily move that over. I'm probably just going to make this image, because it's just really a stock image. I'm just going to pull it in a little bit to make that more clean looking, and I'm going to recenter that. So I just double clicked on the image, if you don't know what I did, and I'm able to center it how I want. So I just want those boxing gloves in the middle, and then I'll click done, and we're good to go. This is all pretty standard. You don't have to change any of this if you don't want to. Just leave all that in there as is. And then a portfolio of excellence. So again, if you're a newer agent, don't have a ton of listings under your belt, or don't necessarily maybe have a ton that you want to advertise. Maybe they were on a lower price range than you're comfortable, showing off necessarily. Maybe don't include this, or maybe just make them bigger and include 3 or a few of them, or maybe just delete this page as a whole. But you can put in your top properties, your favorites of, that would really show your expertise and, the different types of properties that you've worked with over your career. Definitely if you've got some outliers in there and they're not all, the typical cookie cutter type of subdivision home, in the mid 2s, then I would definitely take the time to include all of that in there. And it says in here, sold in blank amount of days for X% over the list price. Obviously, if it's sold for under list price, you would delete that and not include that. You would just have it sold. And they've got 2 of them in here. So if you have a lot of listings that you've done or buyers and you want to include 6, you can, or this option right here has just 3. So maybe you want to use a few fewer of them, you can do this as well. So this, for the portfolios here, I would say for this one for 6 options and 3, I would say these should be all listings. And then this one's also featured listings as well. So I guess technically you could put in some buyer properties as well if you wanted to, just for, the different clients that you've worked with. Granted, this is a listing presentation, so I would probably personally keep it just for listings. But if you don't have a ton yet and you do want to include something, maybe just delete out the parts in here about over list price. Make sure it's just clear that that wasn't a listing when you're talking with the potential client across the table. So just some options in here for how you'd like to show off your portfolio. And then in here on this next page, this is all about client testimonials about you. Well, again, you can't. Lonnie was not your client in 2008 and they did not do this for you, okay? But if you do have some client testimonials you'd like to include, feel free to add those in here. You can just click on it and click the typewriter right there. Looks like the half-eaten candy bar in between the font size and the opacity right there. And you can go through and edit those in. If you don't have any client testimonials, definitely recommend you start doing that on Facebook, Google, anything that's outward facing. Zillow is good for the consumer because there's a lot of consumers on there. But our team personally really focuses on Facebook and Google just for our own reasons. So if you don't like that page, you can delete it. If you would like to add more, you certainly could. You could quite literally duplicate that. You could add this page again if you wanted to click one more time. It's going to add that same page after the next one. So now I'm going to see, if I go to pages now, you'll see I've got 2 of the exact same page back to back. So if you had 6, 8, 9, if you had a bunch of different testimonials, I wouldn't include 9 testimonials. The potential client is not going to read all of that. But if you wanted to show more, you could shrink them up, put them on the same page, or just have maybe 2 pages of, 4 and 5 each, something like that. I'll delete that design out just for redundancy purposes. Here is a generic promise here. I've just templated, and I say generic because it's not tailored to you, but it can be if you would like. This is now, if you don't believe in all of these things, maybe change it to some wording that you would say. Don't just include things in here and then not know what you're talking about at the, in the presentation when you're with the client. For the bottom line here, this one, I had talked to y'all about this. So all of these, yep. So you don't need to edit anything in here, but this is clearly not your signature. It's none of our signatures. So what you can do is literally just Google how to create your own electronic signature. And you can follow some YouTube videos in here. This Denise Robinson, that was 2011. This one is more recent right here, 2019. But this Lisa Doe video, 15.5 minutes, how to create a e-signature in Word. That may be a great thing for you to have in there just because. And so anyway, you can go through and create it that way to make your own image of your, because that's all this is just a image of, a digital signature. So you would just click delete on that, then you would pull in your other one of your own, or if you don't have it, you can just click delete as a whole and leave it. And maybe you put something down here, maybe you don't. It's really up to you if you do delete that out. And then here's our final page right here. And it's very clear because it's black and different than all the other pages because we did the classic theme. Everything was more white. On the modern theme for both buyer and listing presentation, it's more of this black on red. Looks really cool, but you're going to definitely use a lot of ink as well if you're going with that modern look. So you'll want to come in here, put in all of your information, of course, even, it's a little hard to see it, this is Zoom, but under the DBA name here, you're going to want to put in the office address, office name for Central 75, all that type of stuff. So anyway, that's really the meat and potatoes of everything today. Do y'all have any questions? Feel free to unmute, fire away if you do have any questions, or maybe you'd like me to touch back on a different page. Just feel free to unmute and let me know before we finish up for today. Good to go. All right. Well, it's easy enough. I know this is really you just watching me and you're going to need to do it on your own, but I always do this as a test the night before I teach a class just to make sure everything's working. It has been pretty seamless every single time I've done this. Just as of today, and my experience with designs has been really great, and I haven't had many issues with it really at all, I think, since Command came out over a year ago. So definitely play around in designs if you're not, take advantage of it. And even if you're not, outdoor knocking and doing open house flyers and things like that, you could be making graphics at the very least, just for internet posting and scheduling social posts, so that you don't have to think about it and you're letting your people in your world on Facebook or Instagram or wherever know, hey, remember, I'm a realtor. So designs is definitely a great place to go and play around in. And then the last thing you'll want to make sure you do on this, I'm dragging my Zoom screen. So the last thing you're going to want to do, you'll see up here at the top of the screen, it says Untitled Design. We're going to click that to rename it Buyer's Presentation. I'm going to make it 2.0 because I made another one yesterday just as a test. So you would just call it Buyer's Presentation or whatever you like. And then if you wanted to download it to print it, if you wanted to actually print this off for a physical in-person listing appointment here at some point, you would click download. And because you're printing it, you're going to not want to do a JPEG or a PNG. See, ideal for web and images, ideal for high quality images or transparent background. And this one is ideal documents for printing. Okay. So we want to include all designs. Make sure you do that. Make sure you delete out the ones you don't need. It's going to be way harder for you to go in and print certain ranges instead of just deleting the pages you don't need. So I recommend doing that. And also make sure you select high resolution print quality if you are going to be printing this. Honestly, I recommend doing that either way, because for me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a PDF of this in my Google Drive so that it's on my phone, both buyer and listing presentation at any moment. That way, I don't need to be at my computer to print off these presentations. Now, granted, they're going to need to be customized to some effect. So maybe I've done that at, I'm on the run and I just need to print it real quick. I can quite literally print it from my phone if I've got it saved in there. So another reason to be using cloud-based storage as well. But anyway, you would just click download right there and it would go ahead and start downloading for you, and you'd be good to go. So if y'all don't have any other questions, I'll go ahead and finish up for today. I appreciate y'all jumping on. I know a few of y'all hopped on a little after we started. This is going to be uploaded on the YouTube channel for the office. If you just search all one word in the YouTube search box, KW Central 75, one word, and you can upload, or you can watch that rather here later today when I upload that once I get the recording back. So anyway, you can always reach out to me. Feel free to let me know if y'all have any questions, if I can help you in any way. Office email is technology@centralkw.com. And we're going to be going over some new things and opportunities next week that I haven't touched on yet. And let me look real quick at my curriculum and I'll let y'all know what else we're doing. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head all the things going. Let's see, we're going to be going over Opportunities 2.0, stages and checklists on Tuesday next week. And then Thursday, we're going to be going over the KWLS 2.0, the KW listing system, showing you, when I click on a listing and the KWLS button pops up here on the left side of the screen, we're going to be going over some things in that, just some different things for y'all to know. So anyway, hope you'll have a great rest of your weekend and enjoy your short week as well, with us having Monday off. But anyway, hope y'all have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all on Tuesday, okay? Let me know if there's anything I can be doing for y'all. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day, okay?